Meme strats have existed since the start of gaming. This is a tactic that is originally intended as a joke, to make the game more fun and potentially challenging. Think NIP and Fnatic crab walking with dual Berettas, playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out blindfolded, and using pistol knife only in COD Zombies as a few examples. However, what if these potential dumb strategies end up defining the meta and how players would play the game forever? In this video, I highlight 5 of these strategies and explain why they are so clever despite how ludicrous they sound. So sit back, relax and enjoy these terrible gaming strategies, which are actually genius. Flash is a move in Pokemon which can light up dark areas of the region outside of battle and lowers accuracy when it's in battle. On paper, it seems stupid to use such a move in a speedrun. We already know what the map looks like, and more or less, speedrunners would happily take the chance that they won't get hit. Or maybe they do want their Pokemon to get hit in order to execute different strategies. Bottom line is here, there's really no use for Flash, right? Think again. Flash is a move which can be used in the any percent category of Heart Gold and Soul Silver on the last 2 fights, Red and Blue. Since you are severely underleveled for these fights, players will manipulate the RNG to get favourable and faster outcomes than they would if they were to beat the trainers normally. The way battle RNG works in these games is that the outcome of the fights, in terms of what moves are used and how much damage is done, is determined by the frame in which the fight starts. The way players use this to their advantage is to save before the red and blue fight, and then reset the game at a specific cluster of frames. From here, they aim to hit one of a cluster of about 9 or 10 frames, which have already been routed out on a spreadsheet. Now, depending on which cluster they reset on, and which frame they start the fight, determines how they play. To give an example, speedrunner Scoagogo resets on the 2D cluster before his red fight. He then hits frame 2D0C029E and then follows the spreadsheet which has already been routed on speedrun.com on how to win the fight. But wait a second, what has Flash got anything to do with that? Flash is used to manipulate the fight, because when Flash is used, the opponent's accuracy drops, meaning that players can use this to their advantage and manipulate more fights and better fights, which would not have been feasible had that terrible move not been given to you at Bellsprout Tower. Ice Hills is one of the most difficult levels in Stick War. The sheer output of Giants, Swordraths and Archidons makes any player frustrated. So you could imagine the horror when speedrunners are forced to use their limited number of Swordraths so that they can beat the level quickly. The problem with spamming Swordraths is that the strategy is just so inconsistent. Combine that with the fact that Ice Hills is the penultimate level in the game, in a speedrun which is already as unforgiving as it is, and that most players have a 20% consistency with the strat described, you can see why we were desperate for a better way. According to the strategy guide on stickpage.com, the Speartons are described as a unit wearing solid armour from head to toe, making good use of it. They are a good combo not only with Archidons, but with Swordraths, because Speartons will automatically take the front line and take the first damage, which gives your Swordraths a chance to come back in and counterattack. To understand how dumb this strategy sounds, the Spearton is a unit that costs 400, takes twice as long to summon as a Swordrath, and has no speed upgrade, unlike the Swordrath. Additionally, you won't have many Swordraths to reinforce the Spearton on level 11, as this player spawns in with only 500 gold and only 1 miner to gain gold. Summoning Archidons is out of the question, as they don't deal nearly enough damage to warrant any use whatsoever. To add insult to injury, this strategy was written as a solution to level 5, a trivial level which players can beat with ease as it's capped at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. But as it turns out, if you fully upgrade the Spearton Spear and use the Spearton exactly as the game designed them, you would in fact have more consistency to Ice Hills. The odds of beating this level are now just over 50% as opposed to a questionable 20%. Additionally, the strategy doesn't lose that much time on average. Assuming best possible RNG on both strats, you're looking at about a 3-second difference at best. But on average, you can beat the level around 50 seconds, no matter what tactic you use. Who would have thought that the game designer would have a better routed strategy than speedrunners who've been playing for hundreds of hours? I have a question for everyone watching this video. Where would you say is the best place to look in an FPS game? Well, it depends on the context, but more often than not, the answer would be in the air, right? It's just a given that no matter what, you want to be in a position where you pre-aim where an enemy could be, so that you're ready to shoot them, right? Well, this is true, unless you're playing GoldenEye. You see, the Nintendo 64, the console of which GoldenEye is played on, has a very inconsistent frame rate. In order to get a more consistent 30 FPS gameplay, you need to look down whilst you're playing so that the game renders less sprites and entities. Because players move faster the higher the FPS, it is actually faster to look down. You can see how a strategy like this would have riled up the community of the time, as why on earth would anyone play a first-person shooter whilst looking at your feet? It doesn't make any sense. But on the other hand, it's a strategy which is almost iconic with the game, like the flagpole glitch in Super Mario Bros. 1, peeking mid on Dust 2 in CSGO, Overwatch 2 and no one fucking playing it. It's a strat which is synonymous with the game, and some would argue that it makes the speedruns more impressive. Think about it, you're looking down on the ground. To play like that optimally, you would need to know the map like the back of your hand. You need to know where the objectives are and which enemies to kill. It just makes for more iconic moments within GoldenEye. Epic War 5 introduced the summoning of buildings into the Epic War franchise as a replacement for castles, since the gameplay is now heroes versus heroes. This feature was met with a lot of mixed feelings. On one hand, the wall has some very niche use in the stalling of bosses from level to level, but the thing is that these buildings are very expensive. Why would you use a building when you could use spells like Rage, which increases units' attack, Regen, which heals units passively, or something like Ice Blaster or Meteor, which deal direct damage? But okay, the walls still have their uses as they have a lot of HP, they can store pushes like shown here. But I bet you no one thought that there was a use for the Arrow Tower, a building that costs the same as the wall, has significantly less HP, and costs a whopping 180 XP to unlock in the first place. So it came as an absolute shock when I found out that it's a very good strategy for level 11. The way the strategy works is you would complete level 11 as you would normally. When you approach the White Tiger, there are 2 paladins in front of him. Distract those paladins and kill them. When it's time to attack the White Tiger, rather than just rushing and letting all your ranged units die and then rebuilding from there, you simply place your ranged units precisely here and then put a arrow tower in front of the White Tiger. The way the White Tiger's animation works is it will go from its original place and move forward slightly. When it moves forward slightly, its hitbox also moves, so therefore the ranged units can still hit him. And if the arrow tower simply dies, don't worry, just replace it. He's basically stun locked and can't go forward, unless of course you run out of mana, in which case you're screwed. This makes it so much more consistent to kill the White Tiger quickly, and therefore you're ready for the 12th level of the game. The Ender Dragon is the last boss of Minecraft, and over the years, players have been finding ways of defeating it as easily as possible. Whether it's equipping yourself with diamond equipment, having perfect marksmanship to shoot the end crystals to prevent the heal, or skipping the boss fight entirely. This fight has been optimized for years. But I bet no one would have guessed that the best way to actually kill the Ender Dragon would be by sleeping. What? Okay, for those of you who don't know, and who have never seen a Minecraft speedrun, the End is a place which can only be accessed through the End portal. Like the Nether, you can't sleep here because if you do, the bed will explode. But we can use that to our advantage. What you can do is go to the center of the End where all the bedrock is, and then place 2 obsidian blocks like so. and then place a bed. We need the obsidian because otherwise, if we use any other block, the blocks will also explode. Obsidian would not explode. Anyways, from here, now we're going to wait till the dragon perches. And then we're going to start sleeping when the pillow is aligned with the dragon's head, dealing the most amount of damage. The explosion of the bed hurts the dragon bit by bit. This may take more than one perch depending on how well you time the explosions, but you can actually beat the Ender Dragon, the final boss in Minecraft, by falling asleep. And those were 10 meme strats that I managed to find, and now that I'm retelling to you guys. What did you guys think of this video? Did I miss one? Were there some meme strats that you enjoy and that you use during your games? Let me know in the comments down below. I guess the moral of this video is have fun with playing games. They are games at the end of the day, and you never know. In playing the game, not so serious, you could seriously find something game-changing. Special shoutouts to everyone who let me use their gameplay for this video, as this video would not be made possible without them. All their links will be in the description. Please like, favourite, share, subscribe, and of course, make sure to view.
I will destroy you! I will destroy you!